Hey history buffs, Aggie here. Get ready for a whirlwind tour of all 47 US presidents with 3 fun facts each in just 8 minutes. Let's see how many you already know. First up, George Washington, the Revolutionary War hero, became the first US president and set key precedents, including the 2-term limit. He helped establish a strong federal government, avoided foreign entanglements, and warned against political parties in his farewell address. A leading voice in independence, and the first vice president, John Adams, was known for his intellect and firm leadership. His presidency faced tensions with France, and the unpopular Alien and Sedition Acts damaged his re-election prospects. Author of the Declaration of Independence, Thomas Jefferson doubled the nation's size with the Louisiana Purchase and championed small government and states' rights. His presidency marked the rise of the Democratic Republican Party and a shift in political power. James Madison, the father of the Constitution, led the US through the War of 1812 against Britain. Though the war was controversial, it sparked national pride, and Madison's leadership strengthened the role of the federal government. Known for the era of good feelings, James Monroe promoted national unity and issued the Monroe Doctrine, opposing European interference in the Americas. His presidency was marked by westward expansion and economic growth. Son of John Adams, John Quincy Adams won a contested election decided by the House of Representatives. A brilliant diplomat, he struggled with political opposition as president, but later served effectively in Congress and fought against slavery. A war hero and populist, Andrew Jackson expanded executive power and redefined American democracy for the common man. His controversial policies included the Indian Removal Act and opposition to the National Bank. A skilled political organizer and Jackson's successor, Martin Van Buren's presidency was marred by the Panic of 1837, a severe economic downturn. He struggled to maintain the Democratic coalition amid growing sectional tensions. William Henry Harrison gave the longest inaugural address in history and died of pneumonia just 31 days into office, making his the shortest presidency ever. He was a military hero remembered more for his campaign slogan than his time in office. John Tyler, the first vice president to become president due to death, clashed with his own party and was expelled from the Whigs. He supported states' rights and annexed Texas, setting the stage for the Mexican-American War. James K. Polk was a strong advocate for Manifest Destiny and oversaw vast territorial expansion, including the Oregon Territory and lands won in the Mexican-American War. He fulfilled his goals in one term and chose not to seek re-election. A hero of the Mexican-American War, Zachary Taylor opposed the expansion of slavery into new territories. His sudden death after only 16 months in office left national debates unresolved at a critical time. Millard Fillmore assumed office after Taylor's death and supported the Compromise of 1850 to ease tensions between North and South. His enforcement of the Fugitive Slave Act alienated many Northerners and split his party. Franklin Pierce, a Northern Democrat with Southern sympathies, signed the Kansas-Nebraska Act, which inflamed sectional conflict and violence. His failure to calm national tensions weakened his presidency and his party. James Buchanan was our only bachelor president who never married. He also served immediately before the Civil War began and is considered one of the least effective presidents due to inaction over secession. Lincoln led the nation through the Civil War, preserved the Union, and issued the Emancipation Proclamation, which began the process of freeing enslaved people. He was assassinated shortly after his re-election, becoming a martyr for liberty and unity. Johnson became president after Lincoln's assassination and clashed with Congress over Reconstruction. A Southern Democrat, he was the first U.S. president to be impeached, but survived removal by one vote. A Civil War hero, Grant worked to rebuild the South and protect civil rights during Reconstruction. However, his presidency was tainted by multiple corruption scandals among his appointees. Hayes won a fiercely contested election and ended Reconstruction by pulling federal troops from the South. He promoted civil service reform and sought to reconcile divisions between North and South. James Garfield served just 200 days before being assassinated. A Civil War general and congressman, he advocated for civil service reform and fought political corruption before being shot by a disgruntled office seeker. Initially seen as a party loyalist, Chester A. Arthur surprised many by championing civil service reform through the Pendleton Act. He modernized the Navy and earned respect for his independence from corrupt political machines. The only president to serve non-consecutive terms, Grover Cleveland was known for his integrity and vetoed many wasteful bills. His second term was marred by a severe economic depression and labor unrest. Grandson of William Henry Harrison, Benjamin Harrison signed the Sherman Antitrust Act and supported veterans' pensions. His administration increased tariffs and federal spending, leading to his defeat in the next election. William McKinley led the U.S. to victory in the Spanish-American War, annexed territories like Puerto Rico and the Philippines, and boosted the economy with gold-backed currency. He was assassinated early in his second term. An energetic reformer and youngest president ever, Teddy Roosevelt pushed the Square Deal, regulated big business, preserved national parks, and won the Nobel Peace Prize for mediating the Russo-Japanese War. William Howard Taft, who later became Chief Justice, emphasized judicial conservatism over activism. Though Roosevelt's hand-picked successor, he split with him politically, resulting in a divided Republican vote in 1912. Woodrow Wilson led America during World War I and proposed the League of Nations, though the U.S. never joined. His progressive reforms included the Federal Reserve, but his administration also reinforced racial segregation. Warren G. Harding called for a return to normalcy after World War I, but was overshadowed by scandals like Teapot Dome. He died suddenly in office, leaving much of his agenda incomplete. Calvin Coolidge, Silent Cal, believed strongly in limited government and laissez-faire economics. His presidency saw economic growth and stability, though critics say his inaction helped lead to the Great Depression. Herbert Hoover's presidency was defined by the Great Depression's onset. Though he had been a successful humanitarian, his response to the economic crisis was seen as ineffective and out of touch. FDR guided the U.S. through the Great Depression and World War II, implementing the New Deal and expanding federal programs. He remains the only president elected 4 times and left a lasting legacy. Harry S. Truman ended World War II by authorizing the atomic bombings of Japan, helped shape the post-war world with the Marshall Plan and NATO, and desegregated the military during a turbulent domestic period. Dwight D. Eisenhower was a revered WII general. Eisenhower emphasized infrastructure, including the interstate highway system, and warned of the military-industrial complex while maintaining Cold War stability. JFK inspired a new generation with his vision and charisma, managed the Cuban Missile Crisis, and pushed for civil rights. His assassination shocked the world and sparked enduring public fascination. Lyndon B. Johnson passed landmark civil rights legislation and launched the Great Society programs, aiming to end poverty and racial injustice. His legacy was tarnished by the unpopular Vietnam War. Richard Nixon opened relations with China and ended U.S. involvement in Vietnam, but his presidency collapsed under the Watergate scandal, leading to his resignation, the first and only in U.S. history. Gerald Ford took over after Nixon and controversially pardoned him. He struggled with inflation and economic stagnation, but is remembered for restoring trust in the presidency during a difficult transition. Jimmy Carter promoted human rights and brokered the Camp David Accords, but his term suffered from economic troubles and the Iran hostage crisis. His post-presidency work earned him a Nobel Peace Prize. Ronald Reagan championed conservative values, cut taxes, and took a hard stance on the Soviet Union. His economic policies, dubbed Reaganomics, and communication skills made him a transformative figure. George H.W. Bush led a successful Gulf War and managed the end of the Cold War, but a faltering economy and broken tax pledge cost him re-election. He is praised for diplomatic finesse during global change. Bill Clinton presided over economic prosperity, reformed welfare, and expanded trade, though his presidency was marred by scandal and impeachment over a personal affair. He was acquitted by the Senate. George W. Bush responded to the 9/11 attacks with wars in Afghanistan and Iraq and passed sweeping domestic policies. His presidency saw significant controversy over foreign policy and Hurricane Katrina. Barack Obama was the first black president. Obama passed the Affordable Care Act. He was a part of the economy during the Great Recession and ordered the killing of Osama bin Laden. Donald Trump passed a major tax reform bill in 2017, signed bipartisan criminal justice reform through the First Step Act, and brokered historic Middle East peace agreements known as the Abraham Accords. Joe Biden, the oldest president at inauguration, focused on pandemic recovery, infrastructure, and restoring international alliances. His presidency has been shaped by economic challenges and global tension. Donald J. Trump is the second U.S. president to serve non-consecutive terms. In his first 100 days of a second term, Trump issued over 140 executive actions, restarted border wall construction, and launched major energy and efficiency initiatives. We just met all 47 presidents. Which fact surprised you most? Comment below and subscribe for more history adventures. Let me know if you need a word count or further tightening.